Hey, all out there in YouTube world. Good afternoon, good evening. I guess it depends on where you are in the United States or around the globe. So, why am I coming on this late in the evening instead of just waiting for tomorrow? Well, I thought about waiting until tomorrow to come up with this segment. And you're probably wondering why I'm in the room. It's because I started in the room this morning at the coffee club. And all my stuff was set up here. This is where I was doing my work. And I'm like, you know what? I really do need to come live with this. And it was based upon some comments that were received by, of course, they're not subscribers to this channel in the least. They are people that, you could literally say, hey, that person has their hand in the cookie jar, right? and they look over and see somebody's hand in the cookie jar and say, but it's not their hand, somebody else's hand. So it doesn't matter what I say, how I explain things. There are just going to be people out there that just will not believe me. That will not believe me. How dare you say law enforcement knows Summer Wells is no longer here, right? How dare you? How dare you, Bullhorn Betty? You are despicable woman, you. You are despicable. For bringing the truth to us, you are despicable, right? So I decided, you know what? I'm so sick of hearing people that have never touched a case before. They have never talked to law enforcement before. They have never been part of any time of crime before, telling me and other creators we don't know what we're talking about when it comes to the Summer Wells case. Right? And I behoove them. I behoove them to get off their butt and do some research. You got a whole bunch of Google attorneys out there, right? Trying to tell me the law, went to school for it. But at any rate, it was frustrating to see the majority of the people get it. You know, the majority of the people get it. The majority of the people have been watching forensic files and FBI files and, you know, all this stuff for years. Some people just get it. Some people, no matter how much information you give them, it just doesn't click, right? It just doesn't get it. People just don't think about it. And so this is a kind of a segment to help educate people. This is to help educate you. And, you know, it's all about knowledge is power. So instead of coming straight to my channel and writing horrific things that you know nothing about, maybe just put a little effort into it. Put a little effort into it. Actually look at stuff, you know, because at the end of the day, it's not me that's going to look like an idiot, you know, because I put effort into the stuff I bring to YouTube. So this is no different. I keep hitting the wrong one. So we're going to, the reason why I have this up is because that baby's eyes and face are just so cute. It breaks my heart. This whole story, it really does break my heart. Right now, we have this channel on subscriber only mode. If things go well, we will take it off subscriber only mode and open it up for the general public, you know, depending on how everything transpires. But we know the later in the evening, the crazier people are, right? Most of us are up at the crack of dawn or before. And, you know, I do like bringing some things in the evening or afternoon because I have an audience and a lot of people have to watch me on replay that can't watch me in the morning, whether they live on the East Coast, on the other side of the world. You know, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and 7 o'clock in the morning just isn't doable for some people. And when I found this and I was researching this, which some of this information I have already known about, but again, just because I know it doesn't mean the general public knows it. So this is more of an educational type of live for the people that are out there that want to know why I honestly believe law enforcement knew this child was gone. And this child, they started showing those signs about 9 days into the investigation, or, well, I shouldn't say about 9 days into the investigation. They were not having regular press conferences where they were. So their press conferences only happened several times. It was by June 24th, which was 9 days into this investigation, that their next press conference was from the 16th. And that's when we started seeing signs from law enforcement. We started seeing them signaling that this is probably not going to end as well as people were hoping, and we didn't see it at the time. I saw it after reviewing the press conference over and over again. I knew something wasn't right, and I just couldn't figure out what it was. And then I started hearing the signaling of, the words and him catching himself saying, or hiding, and the past tense, and the long pauses, you know, to collect thoughts. And this is where we start getting into the statistical matter. And I think it's very important for our audience to know about the statistics associated with criminal cases. And this is no different. So we're going to just jump in. I'm going to say hi to everybody. Why do I keep using that mouse? I don't know. So Rebecca, good evening. I don't know where you are. It might be good afternoon. Bullhorn Betty's present. Guidance, nice to see you. Oh, and we have some things to go over, and I know it's some of this is probably going to just make the haters just go crazy. So as we're setting up this candlelight vigil for Summer Wells for June 15th, 2022 from 7 to 9:30 p.m. um, this has nothing to do with the Bullhorn Betty channel. These are from the people that are helping with this program, have designed shirts. And so in order for the shirts to be purchased, they ended up having to purchase in bulk like 20 shirts. And I didn't want anybody being strapped with that financial problem, that financial burden, especially if 20 people weren't going to order shirts. These are shirts at cost. That means, I want to make sure this is very clear, not one penny is being made off these shirts. Okay? I'm not making a penny off of it. I have my hands out of it, so no one can say it. They are beautiful shirts. Let me go ahead and pull this back, and I will show you. But we chose not to go with the first set because, again, it required 20 to be purchased up front. After speaking to these people, I told them I didn't want them burdened with that that cost. So they designed a second shirt that they could purchase through Canva, and it is $20. They believe the shipping will be free, but we will need to confirm that before they are purchased. If you guys are coming to the vigil and you do or want shirts that all match, it's up to you. They will be available. Again, this has nothing to do with me. This is from the volunteers that are working on this vigil and have helped set up the Facebook page and the stuff. They've worked very, very hard. I want to tell them thank you very much. They have looked at every avenue possible. So if people did want something, they could get it if they want a souvenir or they want just for everybody to match that wants to go. They have that option. Again, nobody's making any money off these shirts. Well, Canva probably will be, but the rest of us will not. So if it's something that you guys are interested in, I don't know how. Hold on here. I don't know how to how to get the information. I will find that out. If you guys are interested, you can let me know. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay. These are what the shirts will look like. Again, there is the Bullhorn Betty channel is not going to be making any proceeds off of this. This is done by the volunteers that are scheduling and helping set up this event. I thought it was very sweet that they would do something like this. I mean, this did take their time to design. This is the second design because, again, the first one through a company, they wanted 20 shirts minimum purchased up front. I did not feel comfortable having volunteers for this event do that. So if you guys would like some matching shirts for this event, they will be available at cost. So it's completely up to you what you guys would like to do. And I will find out the information so that you guys can get them if you so choose. You can reach out to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com and I will get you in contact with the people. Um, so just let us know. Just throwing that out there for those that would like to participate in that. It is completely up to you and no one else. Anissa, good evening. I am Team Summer. Who else do we got? We got Steph. Nice to see you. Justice for all. It's nice to see you in here this evening. Miss Robin. I already said hi to Rebecca. Jen P. Robin Slack. Nice to see you. Just going through here and seeing who all we have in here. And of course, after I get so to some certain thing, it just pops all the way up. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Robin's eggs, nice egg. Nice to see you. Sorry. East Tennessee girl, nice to see you. And I did see some comments from you guys this morning, and I didn't get back to you because we were talking about so much. And I want to apologize. Not all the time do I see your comments. I do review them after the fact, but like now I'm going live and I can't remember what I was going to talk about then. But I will review them and we will discuss them at our next coffee club. We are doing this live tonight, i.e., Sunday. I will most likely not be live. I'm going to spend the day doing research and getting some additional content out for each and every one of you. Jen P., it's nice to see you. And yes, it's nice to get a live. So Candy Rose, nice to see you. Texas Brat, nice to see you as well. Lenny Beans, Beach Life. Big Dream, or Dream Big. Oh Lord, dyslexia. Never thought I had that before, but I guess I do. Uh, Christina, Panda, it's nice to see you. Thank you, Panda, for getting that information. We are going to cover that here in just a moment. I do appreciate you digging in and seeing that. Pebbles, nice to see you. Amy, Lupus Mom. And I think that is it for now. So it's nice to see you guys all in here this evening. I know, again, we do not do lives this evening, but I don't know how to explain it, but there was just some comments that really kind of got under my skin. And it was like, how, like, open your head and throw your brain back in. I say that all the time because these people have Bullhorn Betty derangement syndrome. They really do. They have just lost all common sense. And then I thought, maybe some of the people in my own audience doesn't understand this and can't follow this either. So it's not just it's about educating. The more information you have, the better you can decide for yourself certain aspects, especially related to the Summer Wells case. But before we get in this, if you guys watched my morning stream, there was some things about the footprint. Now, one of the gals actually, yeah, yes, Amy, just like that. And so, so this morning we were talking about the footprint. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here and going over the crime statistics and going over the information related to missing persons and what protocols are put in place for missing persons, and at which point do those things go over into a homicide investigation, this is what we need to be discussing. This is what we need to hear. This, I think, will clarify a lot of information, not just for this case, for all missing cases with children and all missing cases for people that have extenuating circumstances as to why they may not, they have gone missing. So this applies to a few different things, but we are going to try to apply this in the Summer Wells case so everybody can understand. Good morning, Susie Q. Nice to see you. Right. I love that. So but before we get involved, I just wanted to kind of go over this. I'm probably going to have to go over this again the next time we go live, which again, I'm not sure if I'm going to go live tomorrow. I think I'm going to use that day to research. There's still a lot of footage that needs to be gone over, and if I find something interesting, I will definitely pump out some content. So make sure you guys have that bell on. Have that bell on. So the footprints were brought up. Now this was a post, and again it says speculation. It says speculation here, and it was related to it was on a Reddit account, and the gal that was in here that was talking about the footprints actually helped find it so we can discuss it. So it obviously somebody removed some print on here. So it says, I was informed by deputies to make sure when I post anything, to make sure I explain it in full detail so there's no way anybody could misinterpret it. Someone got confused over me calling a footprint physical evidence and blew up their phone lines thinking it was new evidence. So I am being very precise here. Again, law enforcement had them reiterate this. Apparently, there's a footprint, but I kind of doubt, because again, this footprint information never came from law enforcement and never came from a reliable source. This is somebody that's telling their side of the story. So we don't know if this is 100% accurate. And if it is 100% accurate, I have to believe it was eliminated because, again, law enforcement did not bring it forward, and maybe they just choose not to tell it to the public. There is that possibility. But if they did choose to withhold this information, we have to look at why they would, and we'll go over that. So 2 front footprints, child size, barefoot, not my kid's print, so this person claims. One on my land, so there's 1 foot one foot only on his land, and one on a neighbor's that doesn't want their name or location mentioned. I do not want my location shown either. Search dogs barked on my land. Deputies asked me questions about my kid's shoe size. I asked if the dog's barking meant it was her scent. He said yes. So this is their speculation. They're saying that a law enforcement officer said because the dogs are barking, that it meant that she was on their land. If she was on somebody else's land, then why are they not bringing that forward? That would indicate that she may have 1, walked off, or 2, evidence of an abduction, which they've clearly stated multiple times there's no evidence of abduction. So I'm a little critical of this post, but we'll keep going. He said yes. Said it had to be a recent print left after she disappeared. So left after she disappeared. Informed him my kids are never barefoot. I'm sorry, out in the country, you guarantee that your children are never barefoot. I can't tell you how many times my mama told me never to go outside without shoes on, and guess what? I always went outside without shoes on. So I'm not 100% convinced yet. Okay. Prints were about 3/4 of a mile or so apart. So you have 1 footprint, supposedly almost a mile from the other single footprint. The print in my yard was behind the ridge, so not where we would have seen anyone. Next print was further up the ridge, near another neighbor's house. Not sure which print was left first, so no clue which direction she was going. And it doesn't have the date on here, but it does say up at the top that this was from 10 months ago. Clearly, 10 months ago, this would have been cleared, much like Jody Sue's recollection of the animalistic scream, which we found out by her own text messages was just a noise that woke her up out of a dead sleep. So I don't put a whole lot of credit into this recollection. I'm not saying that the person is not credible. I'm not saying that the person is intentionally manipulating or lying in the least. I just don't think that this is obviously very significant in the eyes of the investigation. One, because of the distance. Two, because it's only 1 foot. And three, because the feet are over a mile. Where's the second foot? Right? And this could literally be any child in that area, not just Summer Wells. Now, with the dogs barking, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you, if this is there, you know, law enforcement would have came out and said, look, folks, I mean, she's out there in the wilderness somewhere. We found her footprint. We never got that from law enforcement. We never got that from law enforcement. So I thought this was significant to bring up to you guys, to let you guys know where that footprint uh, conversation came from. It didn't come from EquiSearch. It didn't come from law enforcement. It came from some neighbor recalling an event. That's where it came from. So I just thought I'd bring that to you. Yes, thank you, guidance. Thank you. And I just want to thank you guys for all the work that you guys have been doing to help. Yes, coffee club at night. And believe it or not, I'm drinking coffee. I surely am. I surely am. So I saw a few more people come in here. Nice to see you, Stormy, Mandy, for real. It's nice to see you guys. Angel Dust. Who else is in here? Cotton Candy, nice to see you. Oh, Ronnie, nice to see you. Nice to see you. I tried calling you back this morning, hon. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you last night. My brain was fried. Tiffany, nice to see you. So that's it with the footprint. I did want to bring that up. I'm going to have to bring that up again at our next coffee club, because it was the morning coffee club, because it was brought up. We did say we'd look into it. I think I will dig in just a little bit further on this, on the footprint aspect of it, just to make sure we cover all the bases. But at this point, it doesn't appear to be as significant as it was spread through YouTube. So just wanted to bring that information up. Now we're going to start getting into the meat and potatoes of why I'm going live. And this may take some time. So guys, go grab your coffee, go grab your beverage, go grab your bag of popcorn, go grab your dinner. I don't know what you guys want to grab, where you're at right now. But before you guys go grab what you need, please go out and hit me a thumbs up button, because we are going to go through some educational information here. So everybody in this group is not only educated in certain aspects of missing persons, but also so we are all on the same page. Okay? There are going to be people that don't like Bullhorn Betty and will try like hell to say I'm lying. So we are going to get down into the meat and potatoes of this. We are going to dive into this. We are going to start talking about real statistics, real information out there on the FBI website, other resources that are available at our disposal, some information from missing and exploited children and their protocols and procedures for law enforcement. We are going to cover all that tonight. So guys, go get your beverage and come back here. I'm just going to sit here and talk until you guys come back here and tell me you are ready to get started. Nice to see you, Carolyn. Kitty Cat. Absolutely. Absolutely. She is. And, you know, it's hard. This case is hard on everybody. And, you know, there are just going to be people, and we're going to go into some more stuff. I mean, it's not just with this case. It's just some people's personalities, they don't like real information. They like believing everything is pink bows and butterflies, that parents don't do horrible things, that everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Can you imagine if law enforcement had the lens of everybody is innocent until proven guilty? They would never be able to make an arrest again. Think about that. Think about that. Somebody's got to say you did it in order to put the silver bracelets on. Who's that going to be? Who's that going to be? Because there's just people out there that absolutely think I should be a judge and jury. That's not my job. My job is to look at these cases, put the pieces of the puzzle together, and come up with a reasonable opinion based upon those facts. Those are my opinions. We've got people telling me I shouldn't be on YouTube making money explaining these cases while they're on YouTube making money telling me I should not be on here making money. They have lost their ever-loving mind. Planet, nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. All right, so what we're going to do now, I've talked for a few more minutes. Hopefully everybody's getting back to their computer or their cell phone, getting their popcorn, getting their food, getting their beverage. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this down and let's get started. So here's just basic information. Folks, people have told me over and over again, you need to wait 24, 48 hours before reporting a person missing. That is not true. It is not necessary to wait 24 to 48 hours before filing a report of a missing person. That is a misconception. It has been a misconception for a very long time. People are asking me, why are you going over this? Summer Wells was reportedly missing immediately within 10 minutes, right? It's because, again, this is for educational purposes. This is to inform people for their own benefit and their own knowledge. This is to help you in case you have a missing loved one and you think you have to wait 24 to 48 hours to report them missing. You do not need to do that. All right? You do not need to do that. If you believe somebody is in danger or somebody is legitimately missing against their own will, you report that immediately. That's the first thing I want to make sure everybody watching this channel, whether it's right now or during a replay, that you know you do not need to wait. Report it immediately, whether it's a child or an adult. Oops. Sorry. Dropped my page. Uh-oh. What did I do? I think it went away. Hold on. I got to go and hit something. I must have hit something. I closed all 13 tabs. Okay. So, again, you do not need to wait that timing. If a child is missing and possibly kidnapped, but no interstate transportation is known, will the FBI begin investigation? Yes. The answer is yes. The FBI will initiate a kidnapping investigation involving a missing child of tender years, even though there is no known interstate aspect. Tender years is generally defined as a child 12 years or younger. The FBI will monitor other kidnapping situations when there is no evidence of interstate travel, and it offers assistance from various entities, including the FBI laboratory. Why are we discussing this? Because, again, this is information you need to know. Why is the FBI involved? The FBI is involved in all kidnappings with children of tender years, which is defined as children 12 years or younger. And again, they will also offer their assistance in other kidnapping situations where there is no evidence of interstate travel. So that basically means if there's extenuating circumstances, they will get involved. So that is why FBI is involved immediately with these children's cases. What is a critically missing person? An at-risk or critically missing person includes but not limited to any of the following. The missing person is a victim of a crime or foul play. The missing person is in critical need of medical attention. The missing person has no pattern of running away or disappearing. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because Summer Wells is considered critically missing at the time she disappeared. Now let's talk about this. This is very interesting. A lot of people do not know. In 76% of missing children homicide case studied, the child was dead within 3 hours of the abduction, and 88.5% of the cases, the child was dead within 24 hours. So within 3 hours of an abduction, and 88.5% of the cases, the child was dead in 24 hours. So while we didn't have a press conference from the 16th to the 24th, 24 hours, they started looking at this in a different light. Okay, folks? Exactly, Planet. Planet said a 5-year-old is not self-sufficient. Exactly right. So, people can be hating on Bullhorn Betty all they want to, but you can't change statistics no matter how much time you try. No matter how many times you beat up on Bullhorn Betty, this information doesn't change. It doesn't. This is alarming. This is horrible and horrific. But this is truth. This is truth. It's sad. So let's go over some more information. This is an article from ABC News that I thought was very important, and we wanted to go over this. So, why is the first 72 hours in a missing person investigation are the most critical, according to criminology experts? Now, I hope all the Bullhorn Betty haters understand what expert means. It means smarter than me and smarter than you, right? They're criminology experts. Let's hear what the experts have to say. Let's hear. The countdown to finding missing person begins the moment someone concerned for his or her well-being alerts law enforcement. Now listen to that. I want you guys to pay very close attention to those words. The moment someone concerned for his or her well-being alerts law enforcement, right? There's a timing in the Summer Wells case when we think when she went missing and when they called the missing persons in. We don't know what that is. Investigators are essentially working against the clock as each passing hour decreases the likelihood that the subject will be found, according to criminology experts. Protect the integrity of the evidence. So law enforcement's first steps in the investigation of a missing person is trying to preserve the loss of evidence. So remember how Don Wells and Candace Wells said that they had to leave their home. They had to leave. They could not stay in their home. This is because law enforcement at the time that they got this missing persons report wanted to protect and preserve any loss of evidence. The victim could be in grave danger. The first few days are especially crucial in the event that an individual is being transported or is in danger. Investigators on missing persons who authorities believe may be vulnerable, such as a child and those with mental illness, are expedited because time is of the essence to get the word out to the public and look for them. Although stranger kidnappings are very, very rare. Let's read that again. Although stranger kidnappings are not just very rare. They put two varies in here. Very, very rare. Children meet their demise quickly. Sometimes the first 3 hours. Okay, again, law enforcement does not believe that the abduction theory holds water. For others who go missing, there is usually a point in time in the investigation when objective switches from attempt to finding the person alive to trying to locate or recover a body. Okay? I want you guys to read that. It's sad. This is not stuff I like to report. Okay? But this is realization. This is reality. This is reality in the Summer Wells case, whether you like to hear it or you don't. Okay? This is statistics. She's not the first child that has gone missing. She's not going to be the last, unfortunately. My heart breaks. But to think that at this point, a year later, with no sightings, no words, no, nothing. Nothing. We have to start looking at the reality of this case. Exactly. Thank you. I didn't put those words in their mouth. But that was at the time they were signaling the public that now we need to start looking for small things, boxes, totes. They didn't want to say that because they're delicate in their language. When they make a statement, their statement goes through 5 or 6 hearings, I guarantee it, before it ever comes out of their mouth in a press conference. There's a certain point after about a week or two. Remember we discussed that? There's a certain point after about a week or two where you have to think the potential that a missing person is dead, and now it's a matter of trying to find their body and bring closure to the family and to determine if you now have a homicide investigation or suicide or a kind of accidental death. Right there. Black and white. I know many people try to say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I work very hard to educate myself, to understand these cases. I spend extraordinary amount of time, money, and effort. I go to the location. We go over the possibilities of all possible scenarios. We objectively look at these cases. We determine what needs to be done, who needs to be spoke to, and what information to either prove or disprove a theory. We did that. And then I come out and realize what they're saying, knowing that this right here exists because, again, this is not my first rodeo. And there are just some people that were calling me this despicable person because I say these things. This is not what I'm saying, folks. This is statistics. This is not what I'm saying. This is what law enforcement is signaling in that press conference of June 24th, 2021. I wasn't there for that. So I know that the people that are in this chat room right now aren't the ones that said that, but there are people that have. Thank you. Thank you, LS. Nice to see you as well. Because I just made some. So, I mean, it's sad. This case is super, super sad. But we have to start being realistic here. We're coming up on a year. You know, I'm working hard on this candlelight prayer vigil because even though summer hasn't been found, at some point we need to start having some closure. We need to not give up on her, trying to locate her and bring the people to justice. But we also have to start really looking at this case properly. And when we're thinking that she is going to come back safe, it's hard to look at this case objectively. Wow. Think about that. I'm sorry to hear that, Big Dream. Dream big. My dyslexia. I don't know why my dyslexia. Only on your name. Only on your name. But I'm very sorry to hear that. But that's a matter of fact. People don't realize that. It's sad. It's sad. Okay. As soon as police get a call reporting that somebody is missing, they will begin evaluating whether the case even involves a missing person at all. This is a 5-year-old child. I'm sure they quickly realized that this was not right, just to let you guys know. And I'm pretty sure they followed proper protocol. Now, we're going to go over that as well. We're already almost an hour into this, and I'm barely through half the stuff I want to talk about. I may have to go live in the morning. I may have to go live in the morning if we can't get to it because I do want to go over the missing and exploited children PDF that I have. So law enforcement will work diligently to bring answers to the family. Once a subject is confirmed to be missing, investigators spring into action, setting up command posts, assigning agents to work the leads, and organizing all the information the investigation has gathered. For families, not knowing what happened to their loved one is the worst thing, and investigators have that in the forefront of their minds as they search for the person. Media coverage makes a difference in closing the cases. Guys, we're doing that. We're social media, but it's still media. We're still keeping Summer's name alive in this media, whether we have haters or lovers or somewhere in between, right? We have to get this stuff out there. Genus and Fox work together on a project to determine how social media, traditional media, and law enforcement techniques could help bring missing persons home safely sooner. And we're not going to go into this study because it doesn't have anything to to do with what my discussion here is. So, is this the one? This is not what I wanted to go through, is it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I forget why I have this up, but we will go through this. So I think it's the end of Amber Alert. Oh, this was the law enforcement. She'll accept reports of missing persons without delay. I think I pulled that up, but we'll put that back here just in case I want to go over that here in just a little bit. This is very interesting. Again, people do not want to listen to statistics when it comes to this, but 74% of missing children, 70% missing children homicide case studies, a child murdered was a female, and an average age of 11 years old. 44% of the case studies, the victim and the killer were stranger, but 42 of the cases, the victim and killer were friends or acquaintances. But only 14% of the cases studied involved parents or intimates killing the child. So about 14%, this study says. So this is interesting and wanted to bring that up. But we have other reports that contradict some of this information, and I think it's on the FBI one. Here it is. In 2011, let me highlight this one. What is that? I had this all highlighted, but for whatever reason, it dropped my highlights. Yeah, this is it. I think it's this one here. 2011 incidents of murder for which a relationship of murder and offender were known. 54% were killed by someone they knew, acquaintance, neighbor, friend, boyfriend, etc. 24.8% of the victims were slain by family members. This was a 2011 study right here. 28% or 24.8% of the victims were slain by family members. The relationship of murder victim and offenders was known in 44.1% of the murders. 44.1% of the murders. Oh, I love that for real, 21. Thank you. Thank you for your love and support. So, these are statistics you cannot argue with. 44.1% of the murders. No, 24. 24.8% of the victims were slain by family members. Relationship of murder victims and offenders was unknown in 44.1%, and 54.3% were killed by somebody they knew. So these are the numbers that I'm looking at right here. Right there. Remember we discussed that? Those are pretty high. Those are pretty high numbers. So this idea and this illusion that it could not possibly be the Wells, Don or Candace involved in this is wrong. It's wrong. We have to look at these numbers. We have to look at the statistics because statistics apply in this case. It just does. I'm not making this stuff up when I come out and try to talk about this stuff. I hope this is used in other people's videos because this is real, legitimate research. Let's move on. I'm trying to read some of the comments and I just can't. So I'm sorry, guys, I can't really read all these comments. So here's one. Data obtained by 44 countries. This means it goes well past the United States. We're right here. Right here. In 44 countries. Overall, parents committed 56.5 of child homicides. Okay? It's unfortunate, but this is reality. And this does apply in the Summer Wells case. These are statistics. And remember, Jonathan Lee Riches, aka JLR, put out multiple videos about how it's reportedly. He went over there, reportedly. Everything related to the press conference was not fact. It was reportedly. If you guys would like to see those videos, go over to Jonathan Lee Riches' page and watch them. He's got all the snippets and clips of those press conferences just showing you that it is reportedly. That means somebody reported that to them. How can they do a proper investigation if the information they are relying on is incorrect? And how do we know the information that they are relying on is incorrect? One, there is 4 possibilities of the disappearance of Summer Wells, and we discussed that this morning. The possibility that she just wandered off, the possibility of foul play, and 2 different abduction theories, one being a stranger and one being targeted. Law enforcement has already eliminated the fact that there is an abduction. That leaves us with 2 possibilities. If we rely on the parents and Summer was had no shoes on, her navigating that rough terrain in and around her property would be next to impossible. So that leaves one theory, foul play. And then when you take that foul play and you bring in the statistics, in addition with the inconsistent statements, the information from the people that are in and around Don and Candace Wells and part of their circle, it drives the bus right at Don, Candace, and Grandis. You're looking at this whole entire case from a bird's eye. There is no possibility of an abduction, so that eliminates two theories, right? It's next to impossible to wander off. I mean, that was a mountain. It was a mountain with rough terrain. Some slopes there are almost 90 degrees. You need to have gear on to go down. She supposedly was only missing 10 minutes when law enforcement was called, which we have reason to believe. Yes, Miss Chewy, thank you. Great point. In addition to the inconsistent statements, no emotion. Playing games. We've watched it play out on YouTube. The facade. We pulled up the police reports. We know how violent not only Don Wells is, but Candace Wells is as well. So this facade that they are innocent, sweet, if YouTubers want to be mean to me, bull crap. Because, she has no problem pointing a shotgun at caseworkers. She has no problem telling Allie and other people that she was mad at that she'll blow their effing head off. And then she wants to come in front of the cameras and act like she is this sweet, broken woman. She was broke. But she was broken a long time ago. Long before she had children. Any children. She has ruined 6 children's lives. 6 children's lives. You can't make these statistics up. This is in black and white. For all the haters out there, this is why people believe Don and Candace know a hell of a lot more than they're proclaiming they know. Because a normal person with halfway decent critical thinking skills and problem-solving skills can see this a mile away. I can guarantee you that the majority of the people, not only in this chat right now, but in my morning chat and follow this channel, have put these pieces together and have put these pieces together a long time ago. But when I bring factual information and make a video on factual information, and somebody is out there telling me how despicable I am for doing so, it's time to start educating those people that think I'm so despicable. Because at the end of the day, I didn't do this to Summer. Her parents did. Her parents did. No matter how you look at this case, even if you still believe, after law enforcement, FBI, and TBI said there's no possibility of an abduction, and you still believe there's an abduction, even if you still believe that, it was their lifestyle that played a hand in that abduction. I'm sorry. But Don and Candace Wells are wholly responsible for this scenario. Wholly responsible. Well, you're right, Planet Shell. We don't know. But what we do know is they've came out publicly on multiple occasions to tell us there's no possibility of an abduction. So We do know that. So that eliminates 2 of the 4 possibilities. That's what we do know. That's if we believe their story. And again, it comes down to what Jonathan was trying to explain is that none of this information has been fact that's been I mean outside of there's no possibility of an abduction, but everything that they've learned about Summer and the timing and where she was and all this was reported to them by someone else. Who were those someone else's, right? It was Grandis, Dawn, and Candace. And that's if the boys gave a statement, it had been their statement. But guess what? They haven't even breathed a word of the boys. We have no clue what those boys have told law enforcement. We have no clue. But what we do know based upon statistics is that overall, parents commit 56.5% of child deaths. They're responsible. That's what we do know. I think he was talking because that wasn't the first time we heard that. If you recall, Dolly brought that forward as well. And I think that was related to the clique that was with Jose Roman. I think that was the clique that was with Jose Roman. Do I know that for a fact? No. I am actually assuming that and speculating. That's my opinion because of the way it was said to me. Now, I don't know if that was accurate, but I think the best person that might be able to clarify that would be Dolly. I think he's the one that brought that up because he was talking to the grandfather, the neighbor that is raising his 3 grandchildren. I think that is where that came from. It's possible and probable right there. And here's another aspect of it, and we will probably need to discuss it. What does it say? Aw. Another possibility or another thing that we're going to be looking into is their lie detector tests. Because I also found out that Don fell asleep. Remember we all heard that he passed his lie detector test and they had to retest Candace? That's not true. Don fell asleep during his polygraph test and had to retake it. Who the hell falls asleep? You know what I see when people fall asleep being interrogated and having to go through that? Go to the first 48 hours. Watch how suspects react when they're finally caught. The first thing they do is start getting tired. That is a telltale sign. Don't believe me? Go watch it. I believe so. I actually, you know what? I have a theory on that too. I've got nothing to back it up, but here's my theory on the children, on the boys. I'm starting to think, if we took either way, however we take this, I believe Summer never got out of that vehicle. Okay? I truly believe she never got out of the vehicle. And if we go by that theory, and she was there, I can see Candace saying, "Hey, boys, your sister's in the basement playing with her toys. Keep an eye on her." And her coming back in a little later, "Hey, boys, where's your sister?" "Oh, she's still down in the basement playing with her toys." Right? And that whole scenario can happen. And if you keep hearing Candace from the beginning of the interviews, Don from the beginning of the interviews, "Well, I told the boys to watch her. I told her, why would you leave Summer outside?" They're constantly blaming their underage children for anything to do with Summer. Did you notice that? In several of their press conferences or media conferences, they're always talking about their boys being responsible for Summer. So it makes me wonder, did they sit there in the house and say, I cannot believe you let Summer do this. I cannot believe you did that. Remember, they were in that house until July with mom and dad. So there's a theory right there that could have happened. And it's a plausible theory. It's a plausible theory. But one thing that we can't set aside is statistics. And these statistics, when it comes to children and parents in a situation like we're dealing with Summer, we can't overlook these things. And while I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, we all know in our hearts and souls the chances of this child where they've had no sightings of her, no no word that she's here, there, or anything, nothing. She just poofed and fell off the face of the earth and nobody saw her again. In this type of situation, we all have to come to realization that this is not going to be something that ends horribly bad. We started seeing that signaling, whether we wanted to acknowledge it or not. We started seeing that signaling from law enforcement on June 24th, 2021. And while we wanted to have hope, even I want to have hope, at some point, I have to wake up and realize that what we have been thinking is true. Who we think is responsible is true. These are statistics that even the haters, unfortunately, can't argue with. So this is what I was talking about. This is what I wanted to get to. So this is law enforcement policy and procedures for reporting missing child and abducted children. This was developed by the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. And we got to it quicker than I thought. So I've got some time. So we have some time to go over it. This is an 18-page document. Okay. I will make sure I add this this link once we wrap up here. I will make sure that I add this link into the description. Give me just a second. Let me just grab something here on this other computer. Da, 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 da. Sorry, guys. Just give me a minute. Please don't forget to go out there. If you guys have not yet hit the thumbs up button on this video, please do so. If you guys are watching on replay, please do not forget to give me the thumbs up. So this was developed by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This was revised. This is a revised copy. I don't have an updated copy, but this is as of 2011. While some of these policies may have changed slightly, I'm pretty sure that this is, relevant still to this day. So this is a non-family abduction. So this is basically, I'll just read it for those, so you guys don't have to read it online. If you can see it clearly, I'm not sure. Reports of missing children can be among the most challenging and emotionally charged cases a law enforcement agency will ever experience. The attitude and approach an agency and its officers take in responding to the report of the missing children may very well determine whether the child is recovered promptly and safely or remains missing for months or years, or even worse, is never recovered. Each stage of the case, therefore, from initial investigation through successful recovery, forms a critical component of thorough law enforcement response. It goes through some criterias of non-family abduction, family abduction, runaways, thrown away, lost, injured, or otherwise missing. So here is where Summer would reside. She would reside in E, lost, injured, or otherwise missing. A child is defined as a child who has disappeared under unknown circumstances. The incident may range from the child wandering away and becoming lost to the child being abducted, wherein no one witnessed the act. These circumstances sometimes involve foul play. This sounds like a lot of what we've been hearing from TBI, right? So abducted, there's no way one, and circumstances sometimes involve foul play, where those reporting the incident are attempting to cover up a crime involving a child. Okay. It should be noted that not all missing child incidents occur each. It should be noted not all missing child incidents occur each year in this country result in a direct law enforcement response. Some incidents are resolved by parents, relatives, friends, neighbors, etc. This discussion should point out law enforcement administration that law enforcement is usually called upon to handle the most demanding missing person child reports. Those cases require decisive action and careful planning response. It goes into using a model policy. It discusses the pre-incident planning and resource development. And then it goes into the report to help them streamline the process, the directive type, effective date, blah, blah, blah. It goes into their statement of what they believe should take place. The policy statement, it shall be the policy of the agent to thoroughly investigate all reports of missing children. Additionally, every child reporting missing to the agency will be considered at risk until a significant amount of information to the contrary has been confirmed. What they mean and why they highlighted at risk is to tell law enforcement, you are to treat this as everything. Everything is on the table. If they need to, if they can't find this person, especially of tender years. Remember, the FBI is now involved in this, as well as TBI and as well as Hawkins County. And they haven't even called in other resources yet. I don't believe they called those in until January 16th or 17th. But they called in additional resources because they were having trouble locating her. Usually missing children that wandered off are typically found fairly quickly after they disappeared. That's just statistically speaking. Are there some that don't and that expire? The answer is yes. But for the majority, they are found and safely brought home. That is not the case here. There's a lot more stuff going on here where the parents weren't being truthful about, one, where they were, and two, what happened when they got home. And remember, these agencies are relying upon that information to quickly find Summer, because they know that if she disappeared, they literally have 3 hours to 72 hours to find that child. That child is usually deceased within 24 of those hours. %54. 54%. Remember that number. Remember that number. Questions concerning parental custody arise. That's not it. The term missing child, younger than 18 years old. A child will be considered at risk when one or more of the risk factors noted in C are present. One or more of the risk factors in C are present. 13 years of age or younger, yes. This age was designated because children of this age group have not established independence from parental control and do not have the survival skills necessary to protect themselves from exploitation on the street, which I believe one of our folks in here had just brought that up. Believed or determined to be experienced one or more of the circumstances below. It is out of the zone of safety for his or her age and developmental stage. The zone of safety will vary depending on the age of the child and his or her developmental stage. In the case of an infant, for example, the zone of safety will include the immediate presence of an adult custodian or the crib, stroller, or carriage in which the infant was placed. For school-age child, the zone of safety might be the immediate neighborhood route taking between home and school, has mental or behavioral disabilities. If the child has mental or behavioral disabilities, we're not going to go there. I don't think that is relevant here. Is drug dependent, including prescribed medications. I don't think that's applied here. Has been absent from the home which in 24 hours. She is 5 years old. That doesn't apply. Is in a life-threatening situation. The environment in which the child is missing may be particularly hazardous. Yes. Example of dangerous environments could be busy highway. Yes. An all-night truck stop for teenagers, outdoor environment, inclement weather for a child. Yes. We have all these things. We're going to probably go through more of this aspect. But as you see, this is driving home a message, this illusion that these parents don't meet all the check boxes of having something to do with this child's disappearance. I don't know what people can do to make people wake up and realize it. But the good news is, folks, that the majority of the people know that the parents are involved. It's a small faction of people that refuse to believe the obvious, that refuse to see what's right in front of their faces. We cannot help them out with this. We cannot help them out with this. What does it say? I think they took it as like going for a walk, run, jog. I'm coming into the middle of a conversation, but I'm glad you guys are having the conversation in the chat. What do you guys think about this? I mean, this is some pretty enlightening information, if you ask me. If you guys have been enlightened, put 1 in the chat. If this is stuff you already knew, put 2 in the chat. Put 3 in the chat if it's a mixture of knowing and not knowing some of this information. Yeah, good. Oh, Amy, I hope so. Good, good. Yeah, Linda, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right, Linda. She says we all want the same goal and all hitting same damn brick wall of 3 idiots. And she is absolutely 100% right. So, there's a lot of factors. We just don't go out and start pointing the finger and saying, you did it. I mean, you guys have watched us work our tail ends off. I mean, we went out there, we really did go through this entire case methodically. We went to records. We wanted to find out every aspect of that home. We wanted to look at the trails. We wanted to look at the home, look at how it sat. The good news is we did go there. Everybody kept saying, but you went there during the winter months. The winter months exposed all those trails. It exposed all the trees within those trails, right? They exposed the actual pitch of that hill, making it more noticeably that it would be very hard to navigate as an adult and child. Then you couple their inconsistent statements, flat out lies, they're playing on the internet, them trying to throw people off, them intentionally and willfully lying to the public about stupid things like being arrested by who does that? Being arrested by the FBI and saying, oh, we were just joking. You have a missing daughter. Why would you be playing these types of games? Candace getting up out of the Dr. Phil show because she felt interrogated. You have a missing 5-year-old kid. That's what happens when your child is nowhere to be found. You are interrogated. You are asked questions. People are trying to find answers. And then the telltale sign, and many of you guys don't know this, but every time we've gone to a guilty person's home, they have called law enforcement on our team. Every time we have gone to a home where people wanted answers, they welcomed us into that home, talked to us for hours, pulled out pictures of their loved ones, talked about what they like to eat, talked about what they love to do. These are telltale signs of the differences that I have seen personally from one type of case to another. Candace doesn't want to talk about Summer. She just wants to get on with her life. How do you get on with your life when you don't even know what happened to your 5-year-old daughter? Or do you? Do you know exactly what happened and you're ready just to get over it so you can move on with your life? So much deflecting. Yes, kitty cat. A lot of it. We've watched it on Chris McDonough where she told 2 separate stories on the same day to him. Actually, if you went back, I think it was 3 separate stories of the same event. Right, kitty cat? I did a poll here. You know, we heard on Ernie Shell, I believe it was a text message. Ernie Shell had asked her about that, and she about searching for Summer, and she said law enforcement told her not to look for her kid. And I'm thinking, what normal, reasonable mother that gave birth to a child and a child is missing? I am 42 years old. Let me go missing. I'm an adult. My mama wouldn't stop looking for me. Give me a break. Give me a break. So these are the factors that I thought were very relevant in this case. I wanted to talk about them. I'm very frustrated with people constantly, not you guys. I know you guys come in here and, we have a good team that includes you guys. You guys help me. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that my email does not get an email in it with some information about some case. You guys are part of the team. And so we come in here and we listen to this stuff and we watch it and we play it and we want information on this baby girl. But you know what? At the end of the day, look around, folks. It's us trying to find answers here. It's not Candace. It's not Dawn. It's not Grandis. It's us. We're fighting for Summer. We're fighting for Summer in the absence of her parents. This is our baby girl. This is not theirs. They don't deserve Summer. They never did. They never did. But we don't want to forget what Summer did. Summer saved her brothers. And for that, she never died in vain. And I've been saying this, oh gosh, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I've been saying this for a really long time, that she saved her brothers, and she did. And she did. Guys, we are doing a prayer and candlelight vigil on the milestone of her 1 year, the 1 year date of her missing. We want to honor her. We want to pray over her. But at some point, we've got to come to the realization, whether we like to or not, that baby Summer might not be coming home. And there is a real and great possibility of that. It's not something I want. I would love nothing more than to be part of bringing her home and bringing her home safe, bringing her back safe. I never want her to go to that home again. I really don't. I really don't. But the reason why it's so easy for people to sit here and try to call me or anybody else that's investigating this case liars is because they haven't done a darn thing to prove me wrong outside of saying they're innocent until proven guilty. That's their comeback with all this information, all this firsthand accounts, all the abuse at the hands of Don and Candace Wells, the violence that went on in that home, the statistics. If they didn't do this, they defied every ounce of possibility that these statistics even matter, right? Because you put so many of these things together, there is no way that they are not responsible for this child's disappearance. There is foul play associated with this case. I guarantee it. I don't think she walked off. How did she walk off on that mountainous terrain? And you know what? People will say, well, she probably walked off. She had no stinking shoes on. And until you see her property, which some of us that are going to the candlelight vigil will get to see this property. We'll get to see this hill, this mountain, and see the slope, and see how difficult it is to get up and down from there. The people that come out, I will personally take you there to show you the property. Whether the haters want to beat up on me or not, guess what? I get beat up on every single day. Take a number, folks. I will gladly take you out there to prove my point. I'm going to be hated on anyways. That's a fact. Just like it's a fact that Don and Candace have a hand in this child's disappearance. We can't outsmart statistics, no matter how much we try. So, folks, we will be going over this. I'm going to take deep dives in more statistics. We're going to keep discussing this. We're going to keep educating the public with the real numbers. We're going to keep trying to drive home the message. I hope that Jonathan Lee Riches continues down the road of trying to find the location of where Summer could possibly be, because that's where our focus needs to be. The idea that the parents aren't responsible is a pipe dream. This has been a recovery mission for a really long time. We just weren't seeing it. So now it's time for us to change focus, start strategizing on locations, putting our heads together, and finding out where this baby is so she can rest in peace. And I think Jonathan Lee Riches might actually be onto something. He's got a whole triangle. And I think he might be onto something. I really do. So I want you guys, if you can, you guys are part of the team too. You guys need to go look at that map. We need to start going through all of anything that we can find. Look on that map. Memorize those locations like Fall Branch and Jonesboro. And when we start hearing those things in conversations where Dawn's talking about it, Candace is talking about it, Hunter's talking about it, we need to start pinning those places on that triangle map that Jonathan showed us. We need to start targeting in on the places where Summer can be. There's going to be a lot of people out there fighting for Summer on June 15th. We can put our heads together and help bring this baby home. Everybody wants to help. Linda, search warrants are great, but you have to have probable cause to get a search warrant. Every time I go to that hill, I keep thinking she's there, because the further away from that hill I get, the further away from Summer I feel. And maybe it's just because that was her home. I don't know. But there is a reason why Don, Candace, and Grandis want no one on that property. They want no one on that property. And I have said from the beginning, I believe she's closer than we think. Law enforcement has come out and said that as well. But if she's on that property, we need to find out where. Where would she be? People are talking about there's caves. People are talking about where there's wells. Start looking at maps. Start digging into public records. Start seeing if that holds water. But this idea that she's going to walk in the door and everything's going to go back to normal, I think we're past that point. I think we've been past that point since 9 days into the investigation. I think 9 days into the investigation, they knew their story was full of too many holes. Even when Don met in that conference room with the behavior panel, the two guys, he came right out and told them, law enforcement said that we have to go back to the timeline because, some things aren't right. It's not jiving with what they've got. So they had to go back to the timeline. Then you got Don falling asleep during a polygraph test. How the hell do you fall asleep during a polygraph test the night that your daughter disappears? Most of us wouldn't even be able to sleep. Let alone fall asleep being hooked up to a freaking machine. Anyways, I get passionate about this case. I'm not yelling at you guys. Of course, you guys know that. But it is frustrating. It is frustrating. It's like, how can people not see what's right in front of their face? Many of us have. I am Team Summer. I don't know if somebody's going to stream the vigil. And here's why. Because one, the internet sucks in Rogersville. Like, it sucks. So I don't know. There have been threats that people are going to try to. Now, mind you, I want to let you guys know that people say that we're out there to try to cause trouble. We're out there to honor a 6-year-old child that went missing at 5. That's what we're out there to do. Some people are saying if they see anybody going live, they're going to drive by. They threaten to drive by and blast music for copyright and stuff. That doesn't even work. Like, I've had music in my videos, and there's a simple process you go, and in your videos can still be monetized. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is that they are actually intentionally trying to cause problems, by doing stuff like that. Do I think somebody's going to drive by there and blast music? No, I don't. I don't think law enforcement's going to allow it. I've already notified. I always keep everything up to date on this because it needs to be safe for everybody involved. If they do play music, so what? I record my stuff and upload it after the fact. My phone doesn't work out there. So hopefully somebody has AT&T. Hopefully somebody can air it live. And I really don't think if somebody's trying to get them copyrights, I don't think it's going to work. I think that's stupid. But they threatened it anyways. But that's how petty some of these people are, right? Again, some people have some major mental disorders that are in here on YouTube. I saw a couple of videos today of people still trying to beat Bullhorn Betty up. It's like, get over it. We're tired of listening about me. We really are. Planet Shell, yeah. Chimney Top Loop. I went there. I went to where the road splits. I believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe maybe Jonathan might have went all the way around. I didn't. Somebody was asking me earlier if I knew about Reverend Donna. I actually followed her map. If you guys have not had an opportunity to watch, I actually took her map out to Kingsport and the Rogersville area, and I followed it. We did find some stuff interesting. I did have to let law enforcement know about it. I don't know whatever happened to that. I couldn't stay to see. I had to go to Ohio. But yes, we do know Donna, Reverend Donna. We did follow her map. The one that the map, like she explained to me, the map is not psychic. She sees a vision. She tries to find that vision on the map. And that's why there were so many dots on it. We tried to follow it the best we could. We did find some interesting stuff. I don't know what happened with it. I did call stuff in because I couldn't leave without calling and informing law enforcement that there was something that was out of the ordinary in a certain area. But you guys can go back in my videos and watch that whole entire episode. So there were several of them that I did. I did the Eastman Chemical Company. I did another area over by Tri-City Airports, actually a couple areas over by Tri-City Airports, and some other things. But the cemetery, East Tennessee Cemetery. So there were some things that I did do. But again, we wanted to go over statistics. I wanted to make sure that you guys were educated on the real facts, not YouTube facts. Not what Bullhorn Betty haters want you to believe, but true facts about this case that are applied in this case. We will dive into this report from the standard and the protocol in which law enforcement is supposed to use with missing children that the National Exploited and Missing Children organization came up with. We want to dive into that a little bit more and explore that. But for tonight, that is all I have for you guys. I want to thank you guys for being here. I hope somebody learned something new today. I hope it can be applied. And always remember, if any one of your loved ones or any of your loved ones ever go missing, do not wait 24 hours. Pick up that phone, report them missing immediately, and get people out there looking for them. Every minute, every second, every hour counts in these cases. Guys, I love each and every one of you. I am up way past my bedtime. So God bless you, and we will see you soon. I don't believe I'm going to go live tomorrow, but hey, you never know. I may have a wild hair and need to see you. But we're going to try to do some more digging and researching tomorrow. And if you do not see me live tomorrow, I will see you first thing Monday morning for Coffee Club. So as we're watching Dr. Phil and getting an insight on Summer Wells, we're paying close attention to every piece of words that are coming out of their mouth. We're paying attention to their body language. We're paying attention to every little detail. We're going back. We're fast forwarding forward. We're rewinding back. And so go ahead and shoot that. So Don Wells on here says the first thing he thought of when he realized his daughter was missing is that she was abducted. That was his very first thought. My question is with that, all that greenery, all that trees, all that whole vast land, your first inclination would be that she was abducted, not that she was lost. Not that she went out and played and fell asleep somewhere, in a tree, something. Your first thought was she was abducted. And he says that multiple times, that's his first thought, is that she was abducted. My question is that would have been my first thought, first and foremost. Secondly, why would that have been his first thought? Was he threatened by somebody that he owed maybe money to, that if he didn't pony up, something would happen to his family? If he didn't owe any money, why would that be his first thought? The wife, Candace, has failed and actually got up out of the interrogation with the human lie detectors, the two gentlemen that were there, reading body language and everything else like that, which was a little suspicious because, You know, you're here to try to find answers for your daughter, and especially if you think she was abducted, your first thing would be, you know, selflessness. You're not worried about yourself. You throw everything on the table to save your child, and somebody asks the tough question, and you break down and get up and don't want to talk about it and take your microphone off. This is not conduct of people that had nothing to do or don't know anything. Secondly, it was apparent that Don Wells may have been at work during the time. So why is the wife half, Candace, so upset about stuff? To me, just this little bit I've previewed thus far, I believe she knows a hell of a lot more than she's saying she knows. I think Don now knows that she may have been involved, and that's why he's having some body language, eye-blinking pattern issues. But if he was not there at the time she disappeared, I think the mom knows exactly what happened to Summer Wells.